Ukraine may be left shocked as Russia revealed it has no need for another mass mobilization for the army as the war moves into its fifth year. Putin's UN envoy, Vasily Nebenzya, dismissed reports of a large-scale call-up, saying there is simply no need for one at present. Moscow is presenting the announcement as proof of military confidence, while accusing Ukraine of relying on stricter mobilization measures to replenish its forces. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev says the enemy is spreading mobilization rumors to destabilize Russia ahead of upcoming elections. Moscow says it has no plans to launch a large-scale mobilization, according to Russia's permanent representative to the United Nations, Vasily Nebenzya. There is simply no need for it, Nebenzya told reporters on August 20th, rejecting claims that Russia is preparing another mass call-up. A reporter asked, quote, "My question concerns Georgia. Now on the eve of mass mobilization, which is expected in Russia after your so-called elections, thousands and tens of thousands of young Russian men are fleeing to Georgia now. Do you have any comments on that?" Unquote. Vasily Nebenzya replied by saying, quote, "You are much more aware of what will happen after the elections than I am. Let's see what happens after the elections. I wouldn't say that tens of thousands of young Russians are fleeing to Georgia. You know what is happening with the mobilization in Ukraine better than anybody else in this environment. So don't worry about mobilization in Russia. I think that it was said many times officially that we don't need massive mobilization at the moment, and it is not planned and expected, as far as I know. But let's see what happens after the elections and who is right and who is wrong." Unquote. Earlier, Russian Security Council Deputy Chairman Dmitry Medvedev dismissed talk of mobilization as rumors being spread against Russia. Medvedev said Russia's enemies want to destabilize the situation inside the country ahead of upcoming elections. The statement comes as Russia continues to intensify attacks on Ukrainian targets in the ongoing war. Russia using new secret weapons? Blasts like nothing heard before leave Kyiv shaken. Ukrainians in panic after an hours-long late-night Russian attack rocks the capital city. Death toll rises and dozens are injured after Putin's new tactic of maximum damage. Zircon missiles and Banderol drones could be increasing Russia's destructive power, but Ukraine's military keeps quiet over how many ballistic and hypersonic missiles were actually used. Need missiles. Zelensky grows desperate for more Patriot interceptors as Russian attacks intensify. The death toll has risen after Russia launched a massive overnight missile and drone attack on Kyiv on August 20th, unleashing a prolonged barrage across the Ukrainian capital. At least 15 people were killed and dozens more were injured during the hours-long assault, according to the Kyiv Independent, as the scale of destruction continued to emerge. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko declared August 21st a day of mourning following the deadly attack, as the city paid tribute to those killed. President Zelensky said around 40 people were injured and described the Russian assault as a massive attack that caused widespread damage across the capital. Zelensky said Russia combined ballistic and cruise missiles with large numbers of drones, in what he described as an attempt to inflict maximum damage on Kyiv. Two blasts at the same time, like nothing I'd heard before, victim Galina Morozova told the Kyiv Independent, describing the terrifying impact of the attack. "I didn't see light. Just sound. I was covered with glass, blinds, bits from the frame," Morozova said, recalling the moment the explosion struck. Zelensky said, and I quote, "Emergency crews have been working at the sites of Russian strikes since overnight. It was a massive attack. The Russians had been preparing for a long time, combining different types of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and drones, aiming to cause as much damage as possible to civilian infrastructure. There is destruction in Kyiv and the region, as well as in the Odessa and Chernihiv regions. In the capital, residential buildings were damaged, including a high-rise whose upper floors were destroyed, as well as a children's hospital and a school. Emergency response and rescue operations are ongoing. As of now, we know that this Russian strike has claimed the lives of 12 people in Kyiv, with one person killed in the region. My condolences to all the families and loved ones. Around 40 more people were injured. In the Odessa region, the enemy carried out a drone attack on a border crossing with Moldova. In the Chernihiv region, it targeted gas infrastructure. I thank all the rescuers, medics, police officers, and utility workers who have been helping people from the first moments. Unfortunately, while Moscow is investing in ballistic missiles and escalation, such strikes do not always receive the response they should from the world. And as long as Ukraine does not have enough anti-ballistic defense, Russia will not consider peace seriously. We are doing everything to ensure we have that protection, and work on the Fragile program continues every day. But Patriot interceptors cannot yet be replaced, and we need them every day. Every additional missile saves the lives of our people. I thank everyone who understands this and is looking for and finding ways to help." Unquote. Ukraine's Air Force said Russia launched 44 cruise missiles, 2 Banderol drones and 168 Shard drones during the massive overnight barrage. Ukrainian forces said they intercepted 39 of the cruise missiles, both Banderol drones and 145 Shard drones as they attempted to defend the capital. But Ukraine's military did not reveal how many ballistic or hypersonic missiles Russia fired, leaving questions over the full scale and composition of the attack. Zelensky said Kyiv was ready to pay for additional Patriot missiles after the attack exposed the continuing challenge of defending the capital against Russian ballistic strikes.
Шановні українці, українки, значну частину дня сьогодні у Києві і в області, в Борисполі, Броварах тривали роботи після російського удару. Комбінований був удар, багато балістики, крилатих ракет, були дрони. На жаль, з балістикою найскладніше зараз. Якщо відсоток збиття крилатих ракет в цьому ударі близько 90%, то з балістикою ситуація значно гірша. Потрібні ракети для патріотів – це те, що можуть забезпечити тільки наші партнери. На всіх рівнях ми доводимо до них і нашу потребу, і те, що ми знаємо, що цю нашу потребу партнери можуть заповнити. Ми говоримо не про подарунки, це про готовність України купувати зброю. Важливо, щоб були рішення, відповідні політичні рішення партнерів і передусім в Сполучених Штатах. Я вдячний усім, хто реально допомагає Україні оборонятись та рятувати життя людей. Тільки цим російським ударом були убиті 16 людей. Мої співчуття рідним та близьким. Ще майже 50 людей були поранені, пошкоджено більше 200 об'єктів. Тільки будинків 86, дитяча лікарня, соціальна інфраструктура, торгівельні об'єкти. Росія продовжує цю свою війну проти людей і життя, і зупинити її реально тільки силою, тільки спільною роботою. І ніхто не має залишатися наодинці проти такого ворога. Ми обов'язково відповімо на цей російський удар. Так само, як і на інші російські удари. Відповімо цілком справедливо і далекобійно. Українська далекобійність буде отримувати ще більше ресурсу. Сьогодні також я підписав укази про нові санкції. Кілька пакетів проти російського воєнного комплексу. Проти тих осіб, які самі стали так чи інакше частиною російського способу життя та зберігають зв'язки з цією державою попри навіть таку війну. Це і колаборанти на тимчасово окупованих територіях України, і колишні діячі з України, які зараз десь там в Європі, але документами, зв'язками і душею вони в Росії. Ми будемо продовжувати нашу санкційну роботу та об'єднувати наші санкції в українській юрисдикції з санкціями партнерів. І ще одне. Ми готуємо рішення в дипломатичній команді, потрібні нові підходи на частині напрямків, і, зокрема, в Америці. Після відповідних консультацій будуть призначені. Україні потрібні результати. Я дякую всім, хто працює на нашу державу. Я дякую всім, хто захищає Україну, хто захищає українців. Слава Україні!
Russia struck Ukraine's national police headquarters in Zhytomyr with S-8000 Banderol drones on August 19th, marking another major attack on a Ukrainian city. According to Ukrainian officials, the strike killed 2 police officers and injured at least 40 people, causing significant casualties in the attack. Details of Russia's latest strikes were reported by the Kyiv Independent on August 20th, highlighting the scale of the overnight assault. The attack came just over a week after another Russian drone strike hit Zhytomyr on August 9th, keeping the region under renewed pressure. Russia is increasingly turning to jet-powered weapons alongside Shard-type attack drones, adding faster and potentially harder to intercept threats to its arsenal. The S-8000 Banderol can reportedly travel significantly faster than propeller-driven Shard drones, giving it a very different battlefield profile. That higher speed could leave Ukrainian air defenses with less time to detect, track and intercept the incoming threat before impact. Russia also launched 2 Iskander-M ballistic missiles along with 65 drones and other aerial targets during the overnight attack. Just hours later, Russia launched another ballistic missile attack against Kyiv after midnight on August 20th, sending the capital into another night of panic. The strikes killed 2 people and injured at least 12 others, according to Ukrainian authorities, as explosions were reported across the city. Multiple blasts shook Kyiv as missiles struck targets or debris fell across several districts, leaving damage and fires in their wake. Residential buildings were damaged in the barrage, while fires broke out at several locations across the Ukrainian capital. A children's hospital in Kyiv's Solomyansky district was also damaged during the missile barrage, adding to the impact on civilian infrastructure. Windows were blown out and cars caught fire on the hospital grounds, according to city officials, as the attack spread damage across the area. Residents were urged to remain inside shelters as ballistic missiles continued to threaten the capital and further strikes remained possible. Ukraine also reported incoming Zircon missiles launched from Russia's Kursk region toward Kyiv, adding another layer to the latest Russian attack.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.